want you to know the vital part that black people have played in this equation historically. I want you to know the great and significant part that they play in this equation today. And I also want you to know of the vital part you have yet to play in this celestial equation. We no longer have the luxury of centuries to hate one another, to procrastinate, and to do these terrible things, because I tell you truly that the time is upon us, that the alterations upon this planet in your lifetime and mine will be so drastic until you will not recognize the world as you see it today. On December 28, 1987, while coming over the mountains in the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas, I had been down to see my mom and dad and to spend the holidays with them. As I was passing the McClellan Waterway and Nuclear Power Facility on top of the Ozark, I looked in my rear view mirror and saw what I believed to be, at that moment, 4 low-flying aircraft coming up behind me, but it seemed as if they were moving too slow and there was no sound. Then I felt the vibrations, which was almost sensual, and the car started quitting on me. The electrical system started cutting out, and I could feel the vibrations on the hair, on my arms, and on my head, and the back of my neck, and on my clothing. As they passed over going away, one of my nieces had given me one of those little Polaroid cameras, and I took 4 very clear daylight photographs of these saucers going away from me and then circling to the right over the mountain. My car stopped, and I got out of the car because I felt as if they were coming around. For some reason, I felt that they were not strangers to me, even though it would be 35 years from the time that I was first picked up at 7, before I would become consciously aware of the great intersocial and interrelationship I've had with these beings over the years at 11-year increments. Presently, I felt the vibrations again, and before I knew it, the ships had come back over me and stopped dead still in the air. And the master ship, I looked up at the undercarriage of it, and I could see it so plainly until I've drawn pictures of it and everything, which some of our greatest scientific minds from all over the earth have studied and found reasonable. There was a blinding white light, and the next thing I knew, I was sitting back in my car beside the road, wondering what was I doing there. And the radio came back on, and the disc jockey said, well, it's 4:40 on your dial, and blah, 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 blah. It's 4:40 in the afternoon, and the clock said 2:40. The watch on my arm said 2:40, so I knew 2 hours was missing. But then I looked down on the seat, and I saw the 4 Polaroid photographs, and I said, I got them now. Yes, at last I have confirmation. And it was in the quest to find out what happened to those missing 2 hours that I was led to a hypnotherapist and researcher in Tulsa, a beautiful spirit by the name of Barbara Bartholey. And through regressive hypnosis sessions, we were able to regress back, and I remembered all of these experiences. But I did not remember them all at the hypnosis volition only, but because these beings have told me, Martin, at this point in your existence, we have looked upon you and found you reasonable, so that you may now remember all and take this message forth, because the time is not long when the transition will transpire upon this planet. And so I remembered everything. I remember that they have given me 144,000 of the symbols. No 2 are alike. You'll get a chance to see some of those to pass along to people in the world. On the night of September 26, 1990, I had returned from a journey out in the prairie back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And It was on this night that all the TV stations were saying that there were strange lights in the sky above the city. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning of that night when I got this message from the alien Tan. He is the one that I know well. And very few of you in here are darker of complexion than he. You see, he's dark, brown of complexion, almost gold. And I had asked him back in 1975, I said, you people seem to dwell by logic, and you cannot feel emotions except through me. Where is the poetry in your soul? You tell me that you know there's a greater God that oversees all of the universes, and you call this God Qua Ozark. Where is the beauty that he has left within you? He said, Martin, in the quest to learn the technological things and the mysteries of the universe, we may have lost the seed of the spirit that you so gracefully hold on your planet. And thus you are fascinating to us. But mayhaps I shall put forth words which in your language you would call poetry. Go forth and read these words and see then if the spirit within us can be felt by the listener. So very briefly, I'll read for you, to my knowledge, the only poem that was dictated verbatim by an alien, someone not of this planet, to me on that night of September 26 in 1990. Let me read it for you. I am not a poet myself. Some people say that I have written some good lines, but this is not of me altogether. But realize that the message that they give me can be no greater than my neurological or physical or spiritual ability to express it. You see, perhaps this is why they didn't go and get a new Guinea for somebody. I don't know. You see what I'm talking about. Certainly, I'm not worthy of such a distinction. I'm not an educated man. I'll wait until. The audience tell me that they have visited this planet. They have visited this planet before the chronogenesis of man came to be. But their sociological interaction with us has only transpired over about the last 40,000 years ago. About 40,000 years in the skies above northern Africa, the Biavians and another group who are reptilian of origin, who are called Tartessians, were more or less at war with one another. This wasn't a great war, but wherever they met each other in space, there was likely to be hostilities. And above the stratosphere of this planet, they did have a run-in, so to speak, and both of the ships were damaged. They fell on an island north of what we now call Libya, out in the Mediterranean Sea, about 100 nautical miles north of Libya. And on Western fables, they called this continent Atlantis. The original people called the continent Mu. And this is from where they branched out and ultimately start marrying the daughters of man in northern Africa, finding them fair. And the offspring are children of these Elohim and man were the first great kings of renown upon the earth that started the first great society. These were the ones that started the first homogeneous stationary societies, and was schooled in agriculture, animal husbandry, medicine, astrology, mathematics, telekinetic mind power, and things of this nature. It all began with you. This poem is called Ozark, which means, roughly translated, the light. La Juwan, which is all praises unto the light. And it was given to me by my friend the alien Okwa Tantin Wan. I called him Tan. He said, Martin, pick up your pen and write these words. I have traveled far and swiftly across yon deep and leaning sky. I have witnessed a nova's birth and saw a living planet die. Across the voids of space unmeasured, Oye Amsa Laji One, I have pierced the quantum's octave, mastered hyperwarps in time. Vaulting onward over the spiral on a journey here to save fellow beings wrought of madness from yon weeping, living grave. Nestled there upon the ether as a jewel among the stones. Iraq, Iraq, the precious orb of legend, soon your glowing shall be done. Children of the living waters, possessors of the staff of reason, beings of celestial promise, doomed to perish in mid-season. From the stone axe to the heavens, lo, the vision did not fade. Still the pulsing seed of hatred lay thy fate beneath the spade. Before me the planet lay in shambles, echo destruction beyond repair. By the greed of false controllers, acids now permeate the air. Pristine waters from the mountains died en route down to the sea. Thus, to hasten soon the horror, the sapient race may cease to be. All my dreams of bio-perfection was but just a futile deed. Seeking to create a pure utopia, we unleashed the monster seed. Still within them lay the spirit to transcend the rabid beast and to comprehend the omsa of the elements of peace. O ye marvels of creation, why have you not sought the light? Must you fade into the shadows of that steel cold azure light? Unto you my sign is written, there upon the living fields. Lo, the circle is eternal, though you perish, ye yet shall live. Interfacing with the acids, beneath some new Jurassic sea, to turn again and scan the heavens, and to learn again to be, to be. If I did not breach your stratus, you would surely someday breach mine. 'Tis a factor without question. 'Tis a factor but of time. I have not returned to conquer, nor to alter the floor of fate, but to gather a certain number soon before it is too late. Too unstable to embrace, yet far too noble to cast away. Beautiful life form, though unsuccessful, might succeed another day there upon the flowering methods of oh shining precious be our day. He said, how do you like it, Martin? I said, that's cool. In 1953, about 3 days after I was gone, my family found me in a cotton field some miles from home. Very clean, well-fed, no worse for wear. It would be an 11-year increment, roughly, that I was picked up. The second time I was picked up near a town called Oneonta, Alabama. This is in the Red Hills of Alabama. At that time, I was maintaining a profession of which now I am very ashamed. I was what they call a bare-knuckle fighter. And this, of course, was illegal, but we did fight in the migrant camps along the eastern seaboard. And I had come there for my last fight. And walking back out of the mountains, I was picked up down there in Alabama. They took me to the great Mothership. This ship is a great orb. It is not a complete circle. It looks like kind of like a big egg or something like this. I'm told that it is 40 kilometers across the center. This is about 28 miles. As we entered this great mothership, I saw that there were not 1,000, but tens of thousands of Beovians. Beovians, the males are about 4 feet in height. The females are a little shorter. The heads, in relation to the body, is larger. The eyes are large and wide set, and somewhat slanted in an oriental fashion. The nose is roughly flat to the profile. There's no discernible ears. The lips are small and thin. The arms are in proportion to the body because they reach almost down to the knees. The fingertips reach almost down to the knees. The fingers, the hands of the Beovians, they have these 3 fingers and a thumb. There are only 4 digits. And the first finger is the most predominant of the fingers, and it gradually diminishes from there. Beovians are in complexion. Every complexion from olive black to deep red to brown to yellow to chalk white. They are of all complexions. These are the ones who have laid claim more or less because of their social interaction and genetic interaction with man. They are the ones who feel as beholding to us and will not let us perish from the universe. Now, the information that I have written in my book, the 600-page manuscript, the photographs and things of this nature, that and all of the other paranormal activity that seems to have begun happening when I became aware of this situation over the years has been clearly documented by clinical psychologists and what we call the greatest of scientific minds. My material for years was in the hand of an ex-NASA mission scientist. I've had scientists who travel from all over the world, incidentally Tokyo, Japan, to come out in the prairie of Oklahoma to interview me, a simple, poor country boy with only an 8th grade education. Quite possibly I told them something that has not been given to public knowledge, and they understand that this case is not your ordinary and normal case. The fact that people of color has been left out of the celestial equation, there is a reason for this. Perhaps it is because the people who predominate the research activities and things of this nature do not want to own up to the fact that there is something in the universe far greater than they, because they believe that they are the controllers and masters of the destiny not only of this earth, but hopefully the universe. But if they knew like me, they'd also know that not only are we not the masters of the universe, but not even the master, in many cases, of our own home. We can't get along with the neighbor across the street. Why would God, in his infinite wisdom, put the guardianship of all of his universes in our hands? I once asked the alien tag, how many life-bearing planets are there in the Milky Way galaxy alone? I did not say intelligent life-bearing planets. And he told me, Martin, if you should visit a new planet each day for the duration of your gestation, you would not even begin to tax the number, nor would I. And he is about 10,000 years of age as we measure time. So, in other words, if he visited a new planet every day till he died, which may be 20,000 years into the future, he would not have visited all the living planets in this one galaxy. And our telescopes tell us that there are thousands, millions, billions of other whole galaxies out there in the universe. I tell you truly that there are many mansions in my Father's kingdom. We are not the only one inhabiting these spaces. Over the world, there have been numerous African Americans, Africans, and other people of color who have had close encounters of the fourth kind with these beings. As I go along through the world, no doubt something that I say or have written will open the cosmic key to the minds of other people who are not yet aware that they have been visited by these people, who may not be aware that they still have the alien seed from the time of the Elohim long ago along the Tigris and Euphrates and the Fertile Crescent in northern Africa. that still maintains its seed, wherein lay the mark of greatness. As the alien told me, Martin, I can't give you what you don't already have. However, if we can align and purify the vibrations, perhaps, mayhap, you can use what you have to a greater degree. And I find that I have been able to at least motivate on a little higher plane to the extent of communicating with my brothers and sisters. Nonetheless, he has not given me anything that God did not give me first. So we were the first. History would have you to believe that the present-day Egyptians built the pyramids. They did not. History would have you to believe that the original 12 tribes of the Hebrew children were of the Asiatic or Caucasian origins. They were not. They were black. Once, as I was saying something despairing of my people in the presence of the alien camp, I was saying that where did we lose the mark of greatness? Where did we go wrong? Why are we not deserving of this thing? And he said, Martin, look into my eyes. And it seemed as if I was drawn in like a whirlwind. I was drawn into his mind. And I found myself standing up on the sands. And I looked to my left and I saw 3 tall, priestly men dressed in royal purple robes, their black skin glistening in the sun. 2 of them had their heads bowed to the east, and the third one was down on one knee. A trickle of blood ran from his right nostril as he slowly slid a 20-ton stone into the side of the pyramid with the power of his mind. And he said, behold, O child of the Elohim, what you have done. Behold and understand the greatness from whence you have come. To a great extent, what will transpire upon this planet, to a great extent the spiritual nature of what is to befall mankind rests in our hands. To a great extent the numerical value to which we will be saved in physical body rests in your hands, in our hands. To a great extent, the fate and the continuum of man within, say, the next 2 decades will lay in our hands. Today I hope to plant the seed of the microcosm that will start this knowledge to grow. I do not ask anyone to go against your religious beliefs or your faith or anything of this nature, because I have always suspected that God would not have been so unfeeling as to have placed all of his eggs in one basket in the universe. So I know that there are others out in the universe. As I told the alien, I say, you are flesh and blood and bone, teardrops, living and dead, as I am. I do not consider you gods, nor will I go and tell anyone that you are angels or gods, because basically gods don't wear no boots that look like them. You know, they got these funny looking little boots. And the God don't wear no boots, look like they're both made for the same foot. But the God don't wear nothing like that. But you're not gods. You know a lot and you can fly real fast and everything, you can do miraculous things. But if I tell the world about you, I will tell the world about you. Now, I know that you have crashed even on our planet. I do not find your philosophy to be beyond my grasp. I believe that many men have felt and written things that transcends what you are telling me here. Nonetheless, you're not perfect. You're not infallible. Nonetheless, I know that you are, because I can feel you, and I can smell you, and I can hold you in my arms. I can talk to you, I can eat your food, I can sleep upon this levitating bed. And I see the miracles that you are giving me, and it's not a dream. Therefore, I know that you are real. And when you tell me something, if in scrutinizing it with my mind, I come to the conclusion after having weighed all the aspects of what you are telling me, I find that it is logical and that quite possibly you are right, then I will pass that information along. But I will not be your chattel, nor will I have any other human being to do so, nor ask them to do so. If in the incident we are going to perish by our own hands, as you say, then the contingency plan to take some of us with you to a better place wherein we may live 1,000 years easily and understand more about the grace of God, then I will go along with that, because at such a time we will know whether we want to leave or not. There won't be any question about it. You understand? I'm not talking about get your knife and get powdered milk and run off in the mountains and be a survivalist. Nothing of this nature. Because when the time comes when we shall gather at a place that I know not where it is at this time, then you will know whether you want to leave here or not. As simple as that. So I'm not trying to gather a flock or anything of this nature. Were it not that I were compelled by God and by other forces greater than my own to come forth out into the world and start speaking, I could very well have been very happy with my animals out on the prairie forever. But it is not meant to be that I should keep within me what I know to be true, what I know to be real. The Guardians come from a planet called Bay, around the equatorial area of this planet. If you started walking that way and showed up back here, you probably would have walked about 25,000 miles around the planet. If you did the same thing on Bay, you would have encompassed about 19,000 miles. So the planet is a little smaller than the Earth. Consequently, the gravitational pull is a little less, which means that this lovely lady could slam dunk on Bay. You see what I mean? Without too much trouble. But it is not, certainly not, it wouldn't put you out or anything. You would get to it get used to it quite easily. And if you were to take the journey, which takes about 4.5 years of our measured time, they would gradually get you accustomed to that. Plants tend to grow in larger configurations, larger proportions on that planet, in the sense that grapes are probably as big as plums, and apples are much larger, and things of this nature because of the less gravitational pull. The planet is pristine because they did not evolve there. This is the third planet that the Guardians have settled. This is why they can tell us so much about where we're headed, because at some time way far back into the annals of history, they have made the same mistakes that we made and destroyed, for the most part, their civilizations and things of this nature. But you see, they were able to, en masse, leave that planet and find another. Unfortunately, we will not have the luxury of that, because if in the incident we had developed this technology, or if it should be developed before the end time, then the Fortune 500 and the 1/10 of 1% of the people who control 95% of all the resources, money, and political situations and sociology of this planet would take nobody but they, their immediate kin, and their servants. Even now, as we speak, these same people, having gotten an inkling of the message that I am giving you, are building secret underground installations, Hyborian gardens, and things of this nature, putting away seed crops and all of this on faraway islands, so that when the time comes, they may retreat there with their servants and what have you, and their riches, and let the rest of us go. They are perfectly prepared that 95% of all humanity, they can stand to lose it. You see what I'm talking about, and still repropagate the earth. I know where the installations are. I know what they are doing, because I've been shown, and I'm telling you that it will not work. You understand? What they are proposing to do will not work. They have had 10 chances to do something that's right upon the earth, and they have refused to do so. They have become so stiff-necked in this progression until they have said, I would, in so many words, I would rather die than do the right thing. And thus we have come to this point in the history of our former geniuses. upon this earth. Now, we go out and we have computers and we take polls, we do data, we test the soil and the air and things of this nature. We count the population. We take the numerical value of the people who are infected with certain infections and things of this nature. And our information tells us how it grows. The aliens use more or less the same type of methods, but theirs are far more advanced than ours. And theirs is not hindered by falsity and false spreading of doctrines and subterfuge and things of this nature. I asked him, what are the chances that we could weather this storm and overcome this thing? What are the chances? What is the odds that we could turn this thing around? What are the odds that within the next 20 years we may be able to see a light at the end of the tunnel? He said, Martin, according to all of the data collected by us and according to our calculations, based upon the atmospheric conditions, the ecological conditions, the geodesic dome, the alignment of the planets, and the nature of the spirit within man, we believe that your planet would have reached terminal saturation by mid-2000, and that we will have to physically retrieve those whom we will by the year 2011. And the probabilities now that we shall have to do so is 92% affirmative. This gives us an 8% chance to bring about some spiritual awareness and change upon this planet. I know that my coming this time quite possibly has been too late. Were it left up to me in my own greed for my own safety, I could have left here long ago and stayed gone and not have to return to this sphere of existence. But of my own volition, I said, yes, I will go back and do what I can, even though it may be too late. Now, I will tell you something. We think in terms of resources, of money, of laws, and of political situations as being more or less the ways and manner in which our existence will have to go. But I tell you truly that if our hearts are right, if we love one another as we love ourselves, feed the children, honor our elders, do unto others as we would have them to do unto us, then we would have gained all that is to be gained from infinity. Whether we be Aborigine or New York executive, we will inherit paradise such as it shall be by these simple acts. All of the rest of the scriptures, writings, cantons, things of rituals and things of this nature is but rhetoric that exudes out from this central symbol of philosophy. Love one another. If we can love one another and spread this love over the world, and we can do it, we do it every day. It is picked up by osmosis from others, even though we may not know their name. If this grows exponentially, just like disease is growing exponentially, just like dope is growing exponentially, we can outgrow it. We can spread more love. And once the mindset and the spirit and the heart of the majority of the people on this planet is upset until, yes, I can love you and you can love me despite all of our differences, then we would have overrode the negative aspects, and these so-called celestials from the skies would walk down and stand down and give us the tools and implements outright so that we may continue. But they know now, and they told me, Martin, it's dangerous for you to go back. Certainly it would be too dangerous for us, because the negative spirit upon that planet now predominates the workings and modus operandi of the human species. And this is terrible. This breaks our heart. I say it breaks mine too. Because our people the people of color of the earth have gotten away from their true greatness, or have neglected to go back and seek the Spirit. The scripture says, seek and ye shall find. It didn't say you might or whatever. It says, seek and you will find the knowledge. I am not telling you anything that you do not know already. I may be putting it in a little better perspective. I may be making it a little more translucent. I may be bringing it a little further to the top. But I'm telling you all that you already know. I once asked the alien, I say, now, I see everybody walking around. I don't see nobody carrying no guns and nothing, what have you. I said, but I suspect that you little people has got some zap stuff around here somewhere. You know what he's talking about. He said, Martin, I'll tell you truly, at my fingertips lay the technology to render a living sphere to fissional dust. Nay, a score of living spheres to fissional dust. But Martin, not even we can destroy life. You understand? You are eternal. I don't care if we should succeed in blowing this planet up with thermonuclear devices. Even if we float it as isotopic particles in the voids of space for billions of measured years, sooner or later we would crawl from some pristine Jurassic waters, look back into the heavens and looking for the bastard who did it to us. So he's got to see us again. Do you understand? He said, "'Tis better now that I approach you in love so that you would be better predisposed toward me when we meet again." And he means that seriously and literally, because as we go and come in rebirth, so does he. So we would walk right up on the same one that did it again. And the next time we may not be so powerless. The next time he may be in this shape and we may have the ship or what have you. So it's better that he be better predisposed toward us. Life is eternal. You see, what we make out of it, certainly this life is only a school. This is why perhaps in 30 lifespans it has been said that there were those who could walk on water, heal the sick, or perhaps even raise the dead. The alien said, Martin, we do not no longer possess these qualities. He said, if you only knew the greatness within you, you would long since, if you had utilized the wisdom and brain power of all of your people without prejudice and without paying attention to color and race and social status and things of this nature, you could long since have been walking upon the meadows of Biarthe with these celestials from the stars. It is your own envy, greed, pride, hatred, bigotry that has held us short of these great things. And I suppose this is why in 30 lifetimes some people can perform miracles while others are still in the caveman stage and things of this nature. We don't progress at the same speed. Nonetheless, we must progress if we are to endure. I am telling you that we can save the world through spiritual power, that we can congregate with these celestials through spiritual power. You see, because the Biarthians communicate through telepathy, that is, from mind to mind. They do not articulate like we talk, like I'm talking now. They communicate. Now, this is perhaps the purest form of physiological communication to be had, meaning that it's not what you say, it's what you mean. And that, of course, would leave out all the politicians, most of the lawyers, all the world leaders, nearly all of the religious leaders. You see what I'm talking about? Most of the big businessmen and conglomerates are so-called people who run the societies of the world. That leaves them out because they're not going to let them in there knowing their hearts. But you know they're going to start something. They will tell him, oh, we welcome you when they're thinking about how can I steal you one of these ships or something of this nature. You see what I mean? And so this is why they have chosen not to extend these type of things, and it is against celestial rules. I know you're wondering, perhaps in your mind, saying, my goodness, what are their intentions and things of this nature. Why are they here and all of this? Well, during our question and answer period, I will endeavor to answer these questions. Try to remember a good question, whatever it may be, and I will answer the question for you as best I can at that time. We are coming down. I'm not a doomsayer. I don't want you to go away from here with gloom and doom in your mind. I want you to continue your life, but with the frame of mind that I will seek to do positive things in all ways and manners upon this earth, and it will spread exponentially unto all of the earth, and perhaps we can stave off this thing. Now, on the 5th of May, remember this date, on the 5th of May, in the year 2000, I graciously request that you take a week or so out of your valuable time and do me the honor of coming where I am at that time, to spend that time with me, because it is on that day that we will know more or less whether our journey or our endeavors are gaining fruition or will be in vain, and that we have to start getting ready for the journey at some time in the future. So remember that particular date. That don't mean that you have to go somewhere with me now. That just means that you've got 5.5 years to start putting a little money in the cookie jar in preparation for that 7-day or 10-day vacation or what have you, to where I'll be at that time. And then I can show you more of these things that I am telling you. Now, since the inception of this case, the key people, such as the scientists who had my work, the hypnotherapist who did the work with me, and a few other people have been able to experience, if not actual hands-on visitations, then paranormal activity or kinetic activity far out of the ordinary and what have you. I have been implementary in having saved the life of a person's little daughter, even as they were away on vacation, and then wrote him a letter to let him know that when he returned home, this would have happened, and things of this nature, so that they would at least know that whatever I have is out of the ordinary, if it is not word, paragraph, and letter truth, or what have you, to substantiate these things. And I believe that they are convinced. I did not come here today to attempt to convince anyone. I came here today to tell you that the African people of the earth hold a vital element in what is to happen. I have with me some of the symbols that I was telling you about. These symbols are not, I repeat, are not of earthly origin. All of these symbols are of extraterrestrial origin. You should be able to feel certain vibrations emanating from these symbols when you look at them. I should hope that you would retrieve one of them for yourself out of curiosity to see what will start happening in your home after you get it. However, let me state to you clearly and categorically that you do not have to have a symbol in order to be included in that celestial number. However, if the time comes and the time element is upon us, it will probably be more easier for us to locate the people with the symbols because of the electromagnetic and vibrational level that emanates from them, which is stronger at that focal point. Nonetheless, you don't have to have no symbol in order to go. But I should hope that you will have one. Just out of curiosity. Then if it doesn't work, then whatever you had bartered and paid for them, you can say, wow, there was a slick guy who got chump change out of me with his false doctrine. You see what I'm talking about? And you can come out of Oklahoma and just beat me up. Okay? We are going. We must try and get ready for that time. the Biabians, they are not so much creatures that exude love as they are creatures of logic. Now, actually, there's a kind of common sense in logic. If I love you, chances are I will be more likely to get love back. Now, that's only logical, isn't it? If I treat you right, chances are I'm more likely to get treated right back. That's only logical, isn't it? So logic is a kind of divinity without the esoteric overtones, so to speak. So in this sense, they are very reasonable beings to be around, and you really would like them because, you know, not only do they look funny, they can do some real, you know, fantastic stuff. So we're going to take a break now, and we'll come back for the question and answer period. If you can think of a question, you know, get it ready for us when we come back, okay? Thank you very much.
And Riley will be back after the break. During the dinner break, you can go over, there's a table set up here with the vibrational drawings known as crop circles, and you can go over them, and you can consult with Riley during the break. So let's take a break right now. Dinner be ready. Is dinner ready?
Yeah, dinner's ready, and it's a situation that you can go back and get more food. It's buffet style.
Do you feel as if we know one another? I mean, I feel as if I've known you so long, all of our lives. Personally, I would love it to be where I could just sit and congregate with each and every single person here in the spirit for a long, long time. Because it breaks my heart to even turn your hand loose once I touch it. You're such beautiful spirits. If you would, if you have a question, ask it and I shall do as best I can to answer it.
Yes, were you ever actually taken aboard the Mothership, and if so, could you describe some of your experiences on board?
Right. For sake of brevity, I'll try and just kind of give you a brief synopsis, because if I try to explain all that I saw, we'd be here a long time. I was taken aboard the big Mothership the first time at the age of 7, taken aboard the Mothership and stayed there for a couple of days. At the age of 18, I was taken up from in Alabama, and this time I spent about 7 days there. And the next time in 1975 along the eastern shore, near Salisbury, Maryland, I was up there and I was singing with a band at the time. I was taken up, and this time I was gone, according to my reckoning, to the Mothership for about 9 days. Now, how you say, well, since they don't have clocks like we have clocks, how do I know it was 9 days? I felt that it was 9 days from the sleep spans that I would sleep, the meals that I would eat, and the whole smoke, bowel movements, and what have you, that I put it at 9 days. Yet when we returned, I had the pleasure of running through the time warp factor with this alien, as I had requested of him when I was 18, and so only 3 days had passed on Earth. And that was the third trip to the Mothership. I have not been back yet. During our conversations together on December 28, 1987, we went above the stratosphere near the moon of this planet. And then we sat and we talked, and I was returned. So I've been to the Mothership, to my knowledge, 3 times. It is a very, very fast, great ship. They have Hyborian gardens. There are levitating gardens out in the center of that great space. There's a great spiral causeway that goes round and around and around and around the interior of this great Mothership, taking you higher and into different zones of this particular ship. You are transported on a little pod that looks something like a large coin. It is somewhat translucent, about 10 feet across, perhaps. It has a force field that keeps you from falling off. It moves along at a speed, roughly the speed of a fast adult would walk at a fast pace, or what have you. However, they do have other conveyance bodies, elevators, and things of this nature to get you somewhere quickly if you want to go. There are 3 levitating gardens that are probably from 7 to 10 miles across, floating out in the center of this great Mothership. You can even see small flocks of birds flying about, and you can feel the changes in the winds and temperatures, depending upon what zone you go into. There are magnificent robots there, and tens of thousands of alien beings of all descriptions, or at least of the several intelligent species that I saw there. I do not have the time now to describe the wonders, all the wonders that I saw aboard this ship, but I should hope so that I'll get a chance to in the future. And since I'm the one who loves you and I'm going to come over to your house and eat some more of your fine groceries, I'll get a chance to talk to you a little more about it anyway.
Did they do any experiments on you? They followed you? Did they monitor your whereabouts after they returned you to Earth? And what was the purpose of choosing you to go upon the mothership? What was the purpose?
I have pondered this question myself as to why I was chosen, when certainly they are far more worthy individuals, far more educated individuals, people of high status in the world. My goodness, we have scientists, we have people who have reached high orders and Nobel Prizes and things of this nature, physicists, we have leading African-American politicians as well as white, what have you. We got Arabian sheiks, the whole works. It would seem that they would have chosen some of these people over me, an uneducated black person, prone to get into trouble on occasion and what have you, that has not lived a very exemplary life, and certainly not a very deeply religious person, though I consider myself spiritual. I have been told that each human being has a electromagnetic body rhythm signature that is as distinct as is a fingerprint. You see what I mean? So that they could relocate me once they had initially contacted me. I don't think they chose me at random, because I'm the only one in the house that was awake at that time of night. Out of the entire family, including my mom and my dad. So I do believe that they chose me purposely for this. I do not believe that I am the only person to have been chosen for such a mission. I do not believe for a moment that I am the only person that they have associated with from a sociological level. Perhaps I am one of the very few people who have not chosen what attributes I have to perhaps raise a religious temple to the sky and then make my living from orphans and widows and sick people to shed in, things of this nature. Maybe they have deemed me worthy to some extent of this, or at least but not for what I have done, but for perhaps what I have not done. I am told that I can and have seen some of my past incarnations going back as far as the time of the continent of Mu and up into the 7th dynasty of ancient Egypt and things of this nature, and then in more recent history. So perhaps I've had a colorful past, and genetically, having perhaps picked up some of the original genetics of the Elohim, as many of you have, they decided that possibly I would be a good candidate to tell something to, and probably would tell it right instead of using it for my own self-aggrandizement or enrichment to the extent of robbing somebody, maybe. Right. Oh. Well, I don't know who to pick.
Could you when you talked about going in the past, could you describe what you saw when you went on your time travel back into the past?
During the time that I had requested in 1964, because at the time I had made my living, as I told you, as a fighter, and I'm not proud of that. I had actually, because of a trial that I had pugilistic bout with the hybrid alien aboard that ship, I got a solicited a promise from him that he would show me some of time travel. During this period of time travel, for instance, when we left there, I knew I had been gone for 9 days roughly, as I thought. when I arrived back on 3 days had passed. Now, during that time, he and I traveled back what I believe to have been more than 67 million years, because at that time the dinosaurs were destroyed by extraterrestrials about 67 million years ago. Another time, I believe, from what I could gather of seeing the humanoids or the beings that were down below running across the ridge with spears in their hands, it would have been around 35,000 years ago. And coming back up, I believe that having traveled to an adobe-type city in the Middle Eastern, on the Middle Eastern Peninsula, which I took to be probably the Jerusalem around 2,000 years ago, and witnessed some incidents that happened there, and then back to the future, which was where we started from.
I was wondering if there is any, in your estimation, any accuracy in what's depicted in Star Wars and Star Trek and other media generated ideations of extraterrestrial life.
Yes, I truthfully believe that people like Spielberg and a number of other people have been given a great deal of have been channeled a great deal of the celestial configurations by these aliens purposely, so that we can start to getting a picture of these things. Probably, as is my own philosophy, I do not speak. For instance, the alien's hand is not controlling every word that I say, because it is left up to my own volition what I wish to say. You understand? I do believe that there is a little bit of the truth in all of these things, even down to the wars and things of this nature. Certainly they have transpired out in the cosmos, and may at this very moment be transpiring somewhere across the galaxies and what have you. The only thing that at this time has not been realized in all of this is the nobility and ascension of man as he fits into this cosmic equation. You see what I mean? We will always make ourselves to be, if we can, on the movies and what have you, to be ascended beings and things of this nature, are capable of outwitting and all of this, the celestial beings and what have you. There's a lot of, certainly there's a great deal of falsity and shortcomings and subterfuge in there, but some of these things have been given to people, like Jules Verne, Tesla. He was not from here.
In the book, Pale White Horse, the author suggests that one of the reasons that JFK was assassinated was he had found out that Johnson had with UFOs and aliens, which they had been picking up people on the countryside, maybe examining them and discarding bodies. Can you shed any light on that?
I am not necessarily familiar with pinpoint familiarity with that particular circumstance, so to speak. But I will tell you this: if I, an uneducated African American man, knows 100% absolutely that we are not alone in this universe and that there are physical beings out there, then you can believe that the high politicians, the world leaders, the high people in the religious order, the high people in the secret society order, and things of this nature, and anyone else who is receptive to using common discretion to decipher all the information we have before us. You see what I'm talking about? So knowing that they are out there. That particular equation I cannot say. You know, I know that they killed Kennedy. It was a conspiracy to kill him not by Oswald and all that type of stuff. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was trying to bring about some positive elemental change in our society.
So are we being misled in terms of folks having us believe that the aliens are not here to help us in experiment on use us for other situations? Is that a misleading point, or is it?
Good question. There are, I saw 7, with my own eyes, 7 intelligent species of aliens. Only one or two of them would I consider sociological contact with on a personal level and like to do so. The rest of them did not appear to me to be the type that I would like to hang out with. You see what I'm talking about? Nonetheless, there are other kinds of aliens out in the stratosphere at any given time. There is some negativism involved. Nonetheless, all of the people who would have you to believe that all experiences are horrible, they're not dead. You see what I'm talking about? And they have not apparently been mutilated to a point greater than they could bear. Now, even the worst of those aliens' abductions wouldn't seem to have been so horrifying as some of the things we do to ourselves on a day-to-day basis. I can tell you this, out of all of my experiences with these beings I know to be the Viavians, they never penetrated my body with any foreign object, even though I was examined when I was first picked up. I will also tell you that you need not give sway to horror or fear, because if you don't fear something, then it has no hold over you regardless of what it is, nor can they invade the privacy of your mind at their will, nor enforce upon you any will except that which God gives you and what have you. So all in all together, I and most minority people who have had encounters of the fourth kind have found them to be, if not wonderful, then at least pleasant experiences. So there is a misinformation campaign. If he's not going to pick me up and I'm the president, then I'm going to tell everybody it's horrible. Way back. No, then I'm coming forward, please.
Finally, what does man do when he started communication with you? Does he have a family? What position does he hold?
Yeah. Well, Viavians, I learned that Viavians do have companions. They have female companions with whom they stay for life. You see what I mean? Also, and I have not paid proper deference to her, only one, whom I call Nella, is always in the company of Dan. You see, whenever they visited me, and she professes also to love me. You see what I mean? And I love her and everything. So they do have a sense of love, if it's not so expressive as ours, so to speak. The Guardians do, you know. Now, apparently, a way of love, but it's not so expressive as ours ought to be felt and what have you. And what does he do when he's not communicating with me? Okay, he communicates with me sometimes, or perhaps once every month or bi-monthly, or it depends upon when he's passing through or what have you. But he does have work to do, being a researcher and what have you. I suppose he has to keep up on his data, you know, collect samples at the North Pole or whatever, and other planets or whatever, and oversee various things that they do, because they have to build machines, they have to keep them running. You see what I'm talking about. They have to assimilate antimatter from the cosmos and keep up on the news of probably a dozen other planets and whatever. So he has things to do. Let's see, let me come down here now.
Okay, this is a two-part question. Is it a way that we know whether we have been visited by intelligent beings, and what is the criteria for wayfarers?
The criteria, first of all, let me answer this. The criteria for a wayfarer, you need not be any particular race, religion, creed, color, or persuasion, nor need to be of any particular sex to the exclusion of any other sex. You see what I'm talking about. Your ways and manners of life, you need not be a teetotaler, nor a churchgoer or anything of this nature. You can be if you want to, but you don't have to be. All we ask, or all we are looking for, is open-minded, fair, decent, loving spirits, from which direction they come. You see what I mean? This is the only criteria.
Wait a minute, that was the first question.
Right, now what was the second part?
The other question was, how would we know whether or is there a way that we can find out whether we were ever visited?
After having been with me And I'll tell you truly, it is all my honor being graced with your presence. But after having been with me and have in your possession one of these symbols, I guarantee you'll know something pretty soon. Let's go to the shot again.
When you went up to the mothership, I want to know if you saw any other human beings or anything more like this. And once you were born, like what happened while you're awake? You know, like your mom, like sent out police looking for you.
Yes. As a child, my family, for some strange reason, didn't talk about it much as I was growing up. After they found me alive and well, a couple of days later in the cotton crib, and when I seemed to could not have remembered where I was, they just thanked the good Lord that I was all right and didn't worry about it, anymore. However, when I went up in '75, I was playing with a blues band and I missed an engagement. And when I got back, they were thoroughly pissed at me because I disappeared out of sight for 3 days. You see what I'm talking about? So actually, other people do know you're gone. You see things like this. They really do. The missing time, you may not know where it went if they don't desire to open your memory to it. But you can, with your own logical reason, say, now, I know I'm not a nut. Where did those 7 days go? And what have you. So the time is actually missing. But somehow or another, I wasn't so previously troubled. You see what I'm talking about? Because it didn't appear to me as if I had been to any horrible place. So, I didn't look upon an aura.
Other horror
What's that?
about the humans and the other humans.
Yes. Aboard the Mothership, I saw one back when I was 7 years old, 53. I saw a middle-aged white guy, kind of short and stout, that was with some of the audience walking across one of the causeways and looking at some things or what have you. He did not appear to be at all that very happy about his surroundings or whatever. He was